And welcome back to ABSTV. With us today, Sim Kolliner, Vice President of Professional Services with Harris. Sim, thanks for coming here today. We want to talk a little bit about 3D, and of course 3D has gotten a lot of buzz lately because of Avatar, but it's also really kind of starting to creep into sports programming and a lot of things we're seeing on the broadcast side. What are you seeing out there, and what's Harris, where are you in your process right now investigating 3D?
Well, there's, as you said, there's a lot of emphasis on 3D. They're calling it 3D TV to separate it from 3D for movies. There's a lot of flux going on, lots of changes, people trying to figure out what they want to do. The best advice I can give the broadcaster is that make sure that your system is good to 3 gig, because 1080p is where it's happening. We did a demonstration of 1080p per eye with the shuttered glasses that was just unbelievable.
Really?
But that's a lot of bandwidth.
Yeah.
That's 1080p twice, which is 6 gig.
Yeah.
The other thing is the cameras. We don't make cameras, but dual 3D cameras are coming. The consumer electronics business is really getting into it. I think Samsung has one coming soon, and Sony has one in the fall, and we're looking at least 240 hertz resolution.
What do you think is going to drive this forward? Is it basically going to be consumer demand, or is it going to be a competitive posture from broadcasters who are saying, hey, I want to leap ahead HD, or who are really going to be the prime movers in this marketplace, do you think?
I think all of the above, but mostly I think it's going to be consumer driven. What we have to see is, in my personal opinion, what we have to see is it really going to go big, or is it going to kind of be a flash in the pan? I think it's going to go big because it's a differentiator.
Yeah.
Especially for sports.
Right.
And I know there are several broadcasters that are looking at dedicated 3D channels. The networks want to do a lot of things. And they should, because anytime you can improve the experience for the viewer, especially if you can do it without having to spend an awful lot of infrastructure, or the consumer doesn't have to spend a whole lot of money, it's a good thing.
Right. And obviously, like any other technology, prices will come down over time on both the acquisition and the viewing side.
Sure. As
this technology plays out in the marketplace. You brought up something else I wanted to flesh out a little bit with you on 3D, and that is, kind of seeing what the marketplace does. To me, one of the biggest killers of some of these emerging technologies is the lack of standards and how much dithering there generally is on getting standards in place. How important do you think that is going to be for the evolution of the 3D marketplace?
I think standardization less than coordination. Personally, I think what's going to happen is there's going to be a kind of a natural run to a particular way of doing it as opposed to a standard, because the standards already exist for the video that's being used. It's a matter of how you use the video. There may be standardization in the end for the manufacturers of the display devices.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What kind of research and development is required by a company like Harris to get this into place? I mean, do you feel like it's something that you could be ready to go with in relatively short order, because like you mentioned, the video's the video, or is it something that's going to take considerable development, or is it more of an issue for individual plants to upgrade their capabilities?
The thing that's good about 3D, as I see it, is that if it doesn't go over big, it's okay, because the equipment that you need for it is stuff you can recycle, that you can use for other things. The big thing is bandwidth. 3 gig is the most bandwidth that any manufacturer can provide right now. There'll probably be more later. The technology is actually fairly simple in that it's 2 videos shot offset with a special lens or pair of lenses. You just have to have the bandwidth to deal with it and to deliver it.
Very interesting conversation about 3D. It's one of those things that we know is coming, not here yet, but it's going to probably be big when it does. Sim Kolliner, Vice President of Professional Services for Harris Corporation, thanks for joining us today.
You're welcome, my pleasure.